So this is Jamie, who has agreed to be a test subject for a science experiment. We don't know who is behind it, but the place has a very old Star Trek feel.
The famous contract, everything we agreed on? Yeah, well, let me tell you, it better have every addenda, every subclause, every codicil. Did you choose 9 months for some symbolic reason? Gestation? Birth?
9 months of isolation is going to be hell for this woman. She can't ever stop
In
talking.
return, I get to go home, to be independent, wealthy. It's done. It's legal.
Come to think of it, it's going to be hell for her observers, too.
All right. So I'm in, so now what?
Anytime they want her to do something, like solve this simple puzzle, they use negative reinforcement in the form of an ear-splitting alarm.
So, fun and games. Is that it for the next 9 months? 9 months? No problem.
But she's convinced this is going to be the easiest thing in the world. So I think we're 6 days in now. Oh, okay, never mind, that's too many to count with the screen moving. She's taken to working on a huge jigsaw puzzle and playing a guitar.
I don't know if I'm supposed to say this. I mean, for all I know, it isn't something you wanted to hear. If you're listening. I wish
She's grown to really hate that alarm.
you hear every breath I take. Every heartbeat, the helpful waves in my brain.
And now she's starting to overthink things. Probably the worst part of isolation.
My ex-boyfriend always told me that.
Especially once you start thinking about the ex.
Conformity. Obedience. You wear the right clothes. Say the right things. Think the right thoughts.
Apparently he was pretty controlling. Meanwhile, the captors are listening to everything she says, but they never communicate outside of the alarm. And apparently that was part of the deal.
Please, just talk to me. Just let me know you're out there. Would that ruin whatever your great experiment is? Please stop this thing. Just say hello and open the hatch and let me out. The money doesn't matter to me now. Keep it. Please.
And now she's about ready to call it quits.
I want you to go home! I want to see people! I want to hear people scream! Anything!
But she signed a contract and they won't let her out of it.
I'll do it, whatever you want, whatever I promise, just please. I'll do it! Thank you. Thank you, I will. I'll do it. Thank you.
Bit of Stockholm Syndrome there. She gets to use a treadmill now, and she's gotten to the point where she seems worried she'll forget her own name.
My name is Jamie Neal. I can't reach my bed. I can't get to where I eat unless I pass through there. We all know what's in there.
We're 64 days in, which explains it.
My name is Jamie Neal. I'm 23. Why didn't you at least give me any windows? Does that spoil your great experiment just because I want to see night and day?
I mean, you did agree to this.
No.
She tries to refuse to do a task they want, but that doesn't last long.
Fulfill my contract.
Apparently they've been putting her through some pretty rough shit.
What's it gonna be this time? Steam? Ice? Snakes? Electrified floor?
This time she has to climb through this obstacle course.
My name is Jamie Neal.
You killed my father. Prepare to die. Like I was gonna let that one go. Complete with invisible walls. Fun! That was a weird effect.
You've never meant to let me go. I will get even, I swear it! I will get even!
But hey, on the upside, she gets leftover frozen pizza. Are they just throwing her the leftovers? That's kind of funny. According to what she was rambling about on the treadmill, this is the kind of thing she has to go through before she can eat and sleep every day.
Anchovies.
They put anchovies on the pizza, now that's just cruel.
They make me hyperventilate.
But yeah, it turns out she's allergic to them.
I'm Jamie Neal. I'm a human being. Do you understand what that means?
And now the captors are revealed.
And today she was especially amusing.
And of course, they're aliens.
The subject has proven to be most bewildering.
She was incapable of tolerating confinement.
And here's the twist.
We learned that her species kept small rodents in similar confinement. Apparently, her kind are hypocrites. They enjoy having, but don't like. In fact, they loathe being pets.
Thanks for the morality lesson, PETA. And so ends Habitat. I could swear I remember really liking this episode the first time I watched it, all the way up until the very end. I think it kind of felt like a Twilight Zone episode to me, but really it's just okay. To be fair, this is a very difficult sort of plot to make interesting. You have only one character who can really only talk to herself. Maybe the writing didn't have the chops, or maybe it was the actress. I don't know, and I honestly don't know what to suggest that would have made this episode better. They really kind of painted themselves into a corner with this one. The bulk of it was fine, though. I don't have any serious complaints. It's mainly the way the ending was handled that I have some issues with. The revelation that there are space aliens watching her is kind of fun, but also kind of predictable with this being a literal Monster of the Week show. Obviously, the observers wouldn't be humans, so what else was going to be studying human behavior? Werewolves? Now that would have been a twist. Also, I gotta say, I'm kind of annoyed by the preachy bit at the end, implying that this is how humans treat their pets. Basically, they're confusing pets with lab animals. I would love to see the reaction my cats would have if someone could tell them that they're being put through this kind of mistreatment. They would laugh and then be like, "Oh, by the way, Mom, could you put more food in our bowl? It's almost down to 3/4 full." Thanks, love you. Also, speaking as an animal lover, while humans are technically animals, we are different than most other animals. Animals don't have hopes and dreams, they don't overthink things and reminisce about old relationships, and hell, they have no way to agree to this sort of thing, and they definitely don't get paid for it. Now you could argue, oh, but they get paid, quote unquote, with food and shelter, but she's already getting that, with money on top of it. I might buy this as a lab animal metaphor if she was captured and forced into this. Then again, maybe that would make it too easy to guess the twist at the end. But yeah, the very method they used to get her to do this is something that only a human could do, and that really messes up the metaphor. For the record, in no way am I saying that it's okay to treat any animal the way Jamie was treated. I'm just saying that humans experience things differently than other animals do, so if you want to make a comparison like this, you have to try a lot harder to make it work. Jamie was played by Lily Taylor, who is basically a character actor. She's been in a lot of things, but I'm not familiar with any of them. It was directed by Bette Gordon, who also directed The Mother Instinct and Jar. She has one more episode coming. I'd say this is her least good so far, The Mother Instinct being the best. You'll never guess who wrote this one. David Morrell, the guy who created Rambo. Seriously, he wrote the novel that First Blood was based on. His IMDb filmography is kind of amusing. Due to having created the character, he gets a credit for every Rambo thing ever made, including this porn parody called Rambo, which I didn't even know existed. Well, I'm rambling almost as much as Jamie at this point. There's only so much you can say about an episode like this. Maybe I'm being a little harsh and I may be biased, but the way the bit at the end was worded felt a little too much like PETA propaganda to me, and boy am I ever sick of that. Next up is Bed and Bore. See you then.
I make a mark when I wake up, but do I sleep for 6 hours or 20 hours? How long is a day without sunset?